Picture this: the Southern Ocean, 1864. Two ships, the Grafton and the Invercauld, are sailing along, completely unaware of the danger ahead. They were headed to different places, each carrying different hopes and dreams. But the ocean doesn't care about any of that. Both ships were going to meet their end on the sharp rocks of Auckland Island, a lonely, deserted island south of New Zealand. These two shipwrecks, happening just months apart, remind us how powerful and unforgiving nature can be. But more importantly, they show us how people react in the face of disaster, highlighting the strength of strong leadership, working together and holding on to hope even when things seem hopeless. Okay, close your eyes and imagine a place where the wind is constantly howling like a wild animal, trying to rip away any bit of warmth you can find. The wind is relentless, never giving you a moment of peace, always reminding you of the harshness of your surroundings. Now picture rain that never seems to stop, so cold it feels like it's stealing your breath away. The rain is icy, each drop like a tiny dagger against your skin. That was Auckland Island, a place where the elements were your constant adversaries. The island was made of volcanoes and shaped by hundreds of years of storms, offering very little comfort to the people who were shipwrecked there. The volcanic rock was sharp and unforgiving, and the landscape was a testament to the island's violent past. Huge cliffs acted like walls along the coastline, and inland, thick forests were full of hidden dangers. The cliffs were treacherous, and the forests were a maze of shadows and threats, making every step a potential risk. Food was really hard to find, with only a few shellfish and seabirds to eat. The scarcity of food meant that every meal was a struggle, and the constant search for sustenance was a daily battle for survival. It was a place that pushed people to their absolute limits, a place where surviving wasn't just about being lucky. It required resilience, determination, and an unbreakable will to live as the island tested every ounce of strength and spirit. The Grafton, a strong ship built for tough conditions, crashed into a hidden reef and broke apart. The crew was thrown into chaos, but their ordeal was just beginning. The captain, Thomas Musgrave, was a young man but incredibly tough. He refused to let his crew give up hope. His leadership was crucial in those first desperate hours. With Captain Musgrave leading the way, they gathered everything they could from the broken ship. Every piece of wood, every nail, and every scrap of fabric was precious. They built a shelter, showing just how determined they were to survive. It was a rough structure, but it provided them with some protection from the harsh elements. They created routines, hunted seals for food, and learned how to move around the dangerous island. Each day was a struggle, but they adapted to their new reality. Captain Musgrave knew that fear could destroy them, so he made sure everyone felt like they were in it together. Unity was their strength, and it kept them going. They shared the little food they had, told each other stories, and kept their hopes alive. These moments of camaraderie were vital for their mental well-being. They became a symbol of fighting back against the terrible situation they were in. Their story is one of resilience, courage, and the unbreakable human spirit. The Invercauld, a much bigger ship carrying hopeful families looking for a new life, crashed into the island's cliffs with a horrifying boom. The impact was devastating, shattering the dreams of those on board and leaving them stranded in a harsh, unforgiving environment. Unlike the crew of the Grafton, the people who survived the Invercauld crash fell into chaos and despair. They were unprepared for the challenges they faced and quickly descended into disarray. The people in charge lost control and fear and distrust took over. Without strong leadership, the survivors were unable to organize themselves effectively. The little food they had started to run out, and as it did, they started to lose their humanity. Hunger and desperation drove them to make irrational decisions. They turned against each other, suspicion turning into violence. The once hopeful families became enemies, fighting for survival in the most brutal ways. What happened to them is the opposite of the Grafton story and shows how dangerous it is when people don't work together. The contrast between the two shipwrecks is stark and telling. It's a scary reminder that sometimes the biggest danger isn't the environment but ourselves. The tragedy of the Invercauld serves as a powerful lesson in the importance of unity and cooperation in the face of adversity.